Love. I'm the library director at the ACC Library. And I just want to talk to you in this video about your assignment in Pooja Nurang's 1301, English 1301 course. So I just want to talk to you about the library resources that you're going to need to be familiar with and some of the things you're going to need to do in order to fulfill the requirements for the research part of that assignment. Okay, so let me share my screen with you here. All right, so let's pull up the assignment here, the requirements. As you can see here, let's scroll up. This is the 1301 Informative Research Essay assignment. And so with that, again, you're going to be researching a controversial topic here, so a hot topic. Those should be fairly easy to find articles about. Hot topics means there being been a lot of discussion, a lot written about it. So this shouldn't be too hard to find, hopefully, with whatever issue it is that you are researching. You need to find at least 4 sources. All right, so 2 website and 2 scholarly sources. So what you can do here, you don't need to go to Google and use Google for your website sources. You can just find those within the library databases. So you don't just have to go to, so when you go to library databases, you can find lots of scholarly sources, but there's a lot of non-scholarly sources in there as well. So you can find all these sources in one place. The advantage of going and using the library's resources versus going out to Google and doing searching through Google is that you know what you're finding in the databases are going to be reputable sources, because it's going to have articles from, what's mentioned here is, New York Times, Popular Science. You're going to be able to find lots of news articles, articles from magazines, lots of reputable sources, professional articles that you mentioned here, a lot of industry publications and things like that. So there's you'll be able to find them all in one place. You may run into barriers too. If you just go out on the internet on Google, as far as a lot of news sites want you to subscribe. There's restrictions on that you run into with those types of things with magazines and with some of their websites as well. So so for students, you can go in and access all of these sources, all of these articles from newspapers, magazines, news sites without having to subscribe or do any of that. You get access to the full text right there. And then scholarly journal articles, those are also sometimes referred to, you may have heard of peer-reviewed articles. So when we talk about scholarly articles, we're just talking about articles in which the contents of the article was reviewed by experts in the field before it was published. So the reason why a lot of times your instructors require that is because they know when you're talking about articles that appear in peer-reviewed publications, you're getting good academic research. I mean, the research has been thoroughly checked and double-checked, and it's really been thoroughly vetted before it's been published. So that's a lot of times why your instructors want you to use at least some of those types of sources for your assignment, because they know you're getting really good academic research in those articles. Okay, so let's go here to the library's pod page. So if you don't already know, when you log into the pod under campus services, you can go down and click library, and that brings you to the library's pod page here. Now, the reason why I recommend going to the pod page versus using the library's website is that there's a lot of information that's posted here at the top, which is very important for you. It's easier to find than it is on the website. And you see the login information. Okay, so most of you are probably going to be, using these resources off campus, doing your research off campus, at home, or wherever. So you're going to need to use a login when you're off campus. So these are the important logins that you need to know. Most of our databases are either through EBSCO or through TechShare, so you'll need to use one of these logins. The database I'm going to be showing you today is EBSCO. So when you're off campus, you're going to need to be using this login. And when you click on the link, it'll prompt you for that login. All right, so when we're doing research like this, when we just have a controversial topic, a hot topic, something that is, a topic that people from all different sorts of, that affects everybody. It's not something that's it's not, this is not an assignment for a psychology class and you need to find an article from a psychology journal. These are general sources that you need. One of the best places to go for that is our EBSCO databases here. So we're just going to go under the section Access Our Databases and we'll click on EBSCO. So EBSCO is our biggest database and it has probably the most content of all the databases that we have. It's got thousands of articles from newspapers, magazines, scholarly journals, lots of stuff here. It's got ebooks as well, lots of different types of sources. So for your purposes here, you're primarily going to want to find articles from news sites or, and then of course, academic journals for the two scholarly sources. All right, so let's do a controversial topic here. So let's search for capital punishment or the death penalty. Now, a lot of times a good rule of thumb when you're doing searching is to start broad. Start with a broad topic and go from there. You want to cast as wide a net as you can first, and if you need to narrow it from there, from that point, you can. You can add in some additional terms. A lot of times students will put in several terms in here, and they don't come up with much because they're just they're sort of overloading the database with different terms that that you're telling it you want it to find. Best way to do is just start broad, see the big picture, what's out there, and then try to narrow it from there. So in this case, if we choose capital punishment or the death penalty, it's going to look for either term. Capital punishment, death penalty, essentially the same thing. So using that or there is going to look for either one. So that's going to sort of broaden our search out rather than just searching for just capital punishment or just the death penalty. Okay. Another good option to do here, you can see where it says and United States. So that'll weed out some of because there's going to be a lot of international publications here. So that'll weed out some of the debate over the death penalty in other countries, let's say. So this will just focus on, for our purposes, the U.S. here. Okay. So here's one, this first article here. Well, actually, let's start off by finding our scholarly. We know we've got to find two of those first, so let's find those first here. We're going to click the box up here that's labeled peer-reviewed. So as I mentioned, peer-reviewed means these are scholarly. These are from scholarly journals. These are scholarly articles. Okay. So this first one here, time for reform, not abolition. So this one would seem to be and you've got to, in your essay, you've got to talk about, pro and con, all the different aspects of it, the arguments for supporting it, the arguments, against it. So this would be one that would seemingly be on the pro side of that. And what you can do here, once you click on the title, that takes you to an abstract page. You can get a better idea of what this article is about. Sometimes it's hard to tell from the title, but here talks about reform of the death penalty, but it's not talking about, abolishing it. So it's something that's kind of more on the pro side of that issue. So let's click on or in order to get to the full text of the article, you'll click on the Access Now button here. And that takes us over to the full text of the article. Okay, so what I always recommend that students do, once you find an article, a good article for your topic, you want to try to save it. Because a lot of times, the question we get a lot is, I found this really good article, I did some more searching, and I can't figure out how to get back to it. Well, this, kind of solves the problem. If once you find something, even if you're not completely sure you're going to use it, if you go ahead and save it, then you've got that saved for when you need it. So what you can do here is just go up to the download link, or you can use the folder icon here. And that you can set up a MyEBSCO host account, which is not a bad idea to do because each time you go into EBSCO, so you could set up this account here, you use whatever username or password that you want, doesn't need to be your student login. And once you've set that up here, so each time, once we click out of this and we want to come back to this later and go back into EBSCO, we can click on that folder here at the top of the screen and we can access the list of articles that we found. So it's a nice feature there, and it's a way for you to really keep track of these sources. In particular, when you have an assignment like this where you've got to find more than just one or two sources, when you got to find 4 or 5 sources, this is kind of a good way to keep track of those things. Or, you might want to find more than 4 sources and then just focus on the 4 best ones of that. But this is a way for you to kind of build up the list of the articles that you found that are possibilities that you might want to use for your paper. Okay, and then up here, you see the little citation icon here. That's the citation helper. So I really, want to make students aware of this because this is a nice feature that we have here in the databases. Because of course you've got to cite your sources when you're obviously in your paper. You've got a works cited page. You've got to cite your sources within the body of your paper. So you want to make sure that you get the citations correct. So with that, what you can do is click on this citation link here and then go down. We'll go down and choose MLA. That's what you have to use for English courses. So you've got it there, and then you just copy it to the clipboard, and then you can just plug that into your works cited page. So it's got it all formatted there for you. You don't have to try to search online. You don't have to try to find the style manual and look it up. You've got it organized for you right there. So it kind of does the work for you. It's a really nice, convenient feature here. Okay, so we found one of our scholarly sources there. And if we're ready to look for some of the other sources, what you do is just we'll just unclick the peer-reviewed button there. These are still peer-reviewed sources, but let's scroll down. Okay, here's one here. This is from Time Magazine, so this is a news magazine, very credible source here talking about bungled executions, backlog courts, 3 more reasons the modern death penalty is a failed experiment. So this is definitely against the death penalty. So this would be a good one for that source to use for that side of the argument. So here, we can see, take a look at the kind of the summary of the article there. If that looks good to us, we'll go up and click on, again, where it says access. You'll want to choose, if you have the choice here, you want to choose the PDF just because it's a little bit easier to save the article versus the online text version. Okay, so there's the, full text of the article there. And again, as I mentioned, you got the same options here as far as saving the article, and then the citation link as well. Okay. And then again, as I mentioned, if you need to narrow your topic here, you can. Usually what you do here, you saw I use that linking word and, that's what you use to tie your terms together. So if we wanted to, add some additional, if we wanted to, if we want to focus on Texas, or we want to focus on women, we can add those terms in now, but we want to start broader, see what we can find, and then kind of narrow from there. But EBSCO is a really good database for you to use. You should be able to find, since these are controversial topics, there should be lots of articles here within EBSCO. But if you do, of course, let us know if you have questions, if you run into problems finding sources here in EBSCO, and we can, help you find what you need. So here on the library's pod page, you can see the contact information is here at the top. So you can send us an email, you can call us. There's the chat box here. So when you're searching there, if you want to ask us a question, you can do that. You'll get an immediate response anytime the library is open. After hours, there'll still be an option for you to submit a question there. What it'll do, it'll show you an FAQ list. If that doesn't answer your question, there'll be an option for you to submit it. It's just like submitting an email to us, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can after that. So like I said, just let us know. I mean, we have lots of other database options here. If you look at our A to Z list, you can see the different things that we have. But for your purposes with this assignment, EBSCO is the best way to go. I mean, we have lots of other databases, general databases, subject-specific databases, but EBSCO is going to be the best option for you to use. Like I said, you can let us know when you have questions. If you want to contact me directly, my contact information and all of our contact information is over here over on the left under Contact Us. But I think hopefully you'll be able to find what you need there within EBSCO. But like I said, if you have questions, please let us know. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your assignment.